Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Recapping Space and Time. I am your friendly neighborhood Soda, joined as always by Ben, who? 50 Shades of Clara, and joining us once again, everyone's favorite Kiwi, Jess. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
I don't think none of us are ready for it to talk about this season.
Nope.
Good now. Don't ask me after.
I've got my napkins ready.
And I think it's safe to say, and then taking a while to step at the point. No one, we feel it, but I think it's safe to say we all have the same number one for this.
Probably.
Probably. It's a good chance.
Yep.
Considering we're all nodding, unless we've all
Yeah.
gotten the wrong one, I think we all know.
Yeah.
It's gonna prove how well we operate as a unit together.
Yeah. It's...
If we all have one hive mind. There's not gonna die of it.
Very nice.
Cybermen.
Yeah, no, this is the episode that we will be talking about has to be one of the biggest gut punches that Doctor Who has ever given you.
Yep. And then, we'll get them on. Yeah.
So we are talking Doctor Who Series 7, which is the last season to feature Amy and Rory, but also is the first season to introduce Clara Oswald, who, while watching this season, I'm still confused as to why people hate her, but I'm sure we will learn about why.
We still have 2 more seasons to go.
I know.
Would it be fair that it is not Matt Smith's departure too?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And not only just Amy and Rory, but Matt Smith as well.
Yeah, even though he, I guess, lasted like a while longer, but well, they did the 2 specials. They did half a season without the Pawns, plus a Christmas special.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. So shall we just hop right into it so we can just
Yep.
get the tears out of the way eventually?
Yep.
We'll start clockwise again.
Like it's like jumping into a cold pool. The water's always going to be cold, no matter how slow or fast you enter it. Might as well jump in.
So how we're gonna do this like we did last week? Ben and I are gonna reveal each our picks. Jess is gonna tell us if it's on her list and at where. And then at the end, 50 is gonna tell us what his list is, and we're gonna compare to see who has the most alike.
Deep breath.
Okay, Ben.
Spoiler. That's another season. That's another.
Knew you'd catch that. Nothing gets by you.
Okay, Ben. What's your number 5?
The snowman.
That is on my.
That's also mine. It's also my 5. So
It's a good. I won't call it a Christmas special yet, because I would say that Christmas special is Time of the Doctor.
No, this is considered. This is a Christmas.
It's a Christmas special.
It's broadcast on Christmas Day, 2012. It is the 8th Doctor Who.
And the plot revolves around Christmas.
Okay,
So I don't know about you guys in California, but to the rest of the world, that usually signals Christmas. Oh,
I mean, these people believe that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know
come
what?
on.
oh no, here we go.
I fucking sing. What do they sing at the end of Die Hard? Oh no! They sing a Christmas song at the end of Die Hard. There's Santa Claus in Die Hard.
So he's arguing for that, but he doesn't consider an episode about that takes place during Christmas. That's fucking hilarious.
An episode.
See, I don't agree with that. I think it's a Christmas episode.
The Snowman.
It's a Christmas episode. But I won't call it a Christmas special of the season. It is a Christmas episode. I'm not arguing that.
So what do you call a Christmas episode that's separate from the main season if you're not calling it a Christmas special?
Yeah, I don't consider it separate because it involves Clara.
What does that have to do with anything?
He's thinking of Christmas specials as almost standalone that doesn't
Yeah.
affect the rest. So that's where I think Ben's going with it, is that because Clara's introduced and she becomes a mainstay of the season,
Yeah.
usually Christmas specials introduce someone that's like a one-off.
Yeah.
Not always though. The Christmas
No.
Invasion wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Christmas what?
Christmas Invasion.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but it introduced a doctor. And
Not,
it
not
was
as a
all
one-off. No.
introduced.
Not as a one-off.
Not a one-off. And neither was Donna.
Originally Donna was.
Not a really one-off. Not a really one-off.
Apparently, the hive mind is broken down.
Yeah. Okay. Enough. It's Christmas stuff. All right, Ben, go on.
We're nailing this, by the way.
Yeah.
Fine, this is the introduction to Clara. Fine, this is the Christmas special for the season.
Technically,
Fine.
also, she was introduced in the first episode of the season.
Asylum of the
so
Daleks.
still wrong,
Okay,
so
50. Okay, 50.
Calm the fuck down.
I mean, there's Christmas gobbledygook. Anywho,
I'm not playing that one.
No.
No, I don't have it anyways on here.
Okay. Tell us why this is your number 5, Ben. Why is
I
it?
didn't like it because it's an exciting mystery introduction to Clara. I like the snowman and the villain. I like the secret intelligence.
The Great Intelligence.
great intelligence.
I think found this episode a really fun one to kick up this season. What are you guys' thoughts about this?
I enjoy it, and it was a hard one to cut from my list because of how much I enjoy it. Because this version of Clara is so awesome. It's like a spy version of Mary Poppins.
And I like how I like her introduction to the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I like how, yeah, I agree
It's
with
the
you.
only person that I'm aware of to say it's smaller on the outside.
Yeah, because she's
50?
got to be a special case, isn't she?
No.
Oh my god! 50. Ay. To quote Alfred.
I
Can I
gotta
talk
say
about
this.
why I like it?
I gotta say this. Not only do I consider this as Christmas special, I think it is the worst Christmas special of the bunch
Really?
because it's got a sad ending. You're not
Huh.
supposed to be sad on Christmas. What the hell, Moffat? You introduce a new character and you kill her off, and everybody's crying.
He killed her off in Asylum of the Daleks too, though.
Calm the fuck down.
But that wasn't a Christmas.
Yeah,
Calm the fuck down.
I'm kidding.
I
50.
will not. Sir.
That's wow. Okay.
I really liked it just because
too,
it,
me.
it deepened the mystery of Clara. Because I remember watching this when it actually came out, and so we saw him in Asylum of the Daleks. I also was super fresh to the Doctor Who universe, so I wasn't keeping up with all the updates of like, oh, this person's joining as a companion. So I had no clue.
Yeah.
So I really liked her character in Asylum of the Daleks, and I was like, damn, they killed her off. She was great. And then when they brought her back, I was like, I'm so confused. Why is she here? And the whole time I just had this running mystery of what is she do? She a clone? What's her deal? I had no idea what was meant to be happening with her.
Yeah,
And that's what really helped was that mystery of who is this girl and why is she back again?
Yeah, and it
That is the intention of the character originally.
And like I'm in the same boat as Jess. Actually, season 7 was the first one I started watching live
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
after the Christmas special. At the beginning.
Okay.
Dean's like, well, not, but okay.
There's 2 Christmas. Well, it's because the way they did the season, instead of
The
having
other
That's
Christmas
weird.
special.
they
The
did
Happy
it-
Christmas special.
well, no, the way they did it, so they were able to do 2 Christmas specials, one to kick off each half,
And then
So,
yeah.
because they filmed these like movies, is what they did.
So wait, are there 3 Christmas specials in this season?
Okay, there's only 2 because Time of the Doctor is not a Christmas special.
It feels like one though.
It feels like one,
It
yes.
feels like
Isn't
one.
it a Christmas special?
I don't remember it being.
It was released on Christmas, and
Was it?
Yeah.
it literally involves the Doctor spending 900 years in a town called Christmas.
Yes. It's about when the doctor finally stayed for Christmas.
Explaining Christmas to you guys.
Okay,
Is it
I'm
because
out.
we kind of invented
I'm
it?
out. I stopped at this episode because that was the agreement. I haven't seen the episode in a really long time, so I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
We haven't even done all of our picks yet.
I know.
Okay.
So good, man.
That was my review of it. As I really enjoyed it because I liked this mystery of Clara.
Yeah,
I
me too.
liked it. I remember watching it and being really really intrigued by her. And when at the end, when the doctor clicks about who she is, because obviously what I forgot was that he never actually saw what Clara looked like, or when she was
Yeah,
Oswald.
we heard your voice.
And so when she is dying and she finally says that line,
was it "Run, you clever
"Run,
boy"?
you clever boy, and remember me."
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, "Hold on a second." I was like, "He gets it.
Yeah.
He gets it." And so that's why it's my number 5.
Yeah, and like the sorry, just I'm gonna say this: the dynamic between this version of Clara and the Doctor is so much fun. The flirting that's going on between these two is insane.
Oh, like you wouldn't though.
I will say that I was captivated by the mystery of Clara at the first time seeing it. Hated the reveal, and now it's just every time I watch it, I hate it more and more. She's like, for Schmodown references, she's like my last Jedi to my Harloff, where I try to like it and I just dislike it the more I watch it.
No, fair point. Well, let's hope you don't have to watch it again afterwards.
Oh, I will.
Yeah,
I mean, you know me.
that's true. That's true.
Of course, I'll watch it all over again.
Okay,
Because that is what a true fan does.
there we
You
go.
watch the good and the bad.
Oh, Ben, you really are the sniper. I think you broke Jess. Hey, oh, to the fuck! Oh my god. Yep.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Oh, that man.
Okay, my number 5.
Okay, that's one way to get us to calm down.
That's okay. My number 5. I got a feeling will be punted. It's the Bells of St. John.
I shouldn't mind it.
I don't have it.
If I did honorable mentions, it would have been on there.
Gotcha.
I didn't do that.
I don't want to derail the conversation again, but did we actually go through the synopsis like you usually like to do, Soda, for the Snowman?
We're a little pressed for time right now, so
Okay.
all of them. I'll do it for one.
Because there's a lot of stuff to unpack about that episode.
I know. It's unfortunately I don't have the time to do it for every episode today. So the Bells of St. John, which is this episode after the Snowman, is the first part of the second half of season 7. It is where we are introduced properly to Clara Oswald, the one that we see travel with the Doctor. And in this episode, it is basically the Wi-Fi is controlling the world, and it's basically a race against the Doctor and these.
You don't know where I am.
Yeah, don't know where I am. This is where we meet the big bad for the season finale, and it is none other than an upgraded version of the Great Intelligence that looks like the guy that the Great Intelligence was using in the Christmas special, played by Richard E. Grant. This is a fun episode. Establishes what we're going to get with Matt Smith and Clara, because I know you don't like Clara 50, but you got to admit she has great chemistry with Matt Smith.
Yes, with Matt Smith. And then
With
I would say
Capaldi,
she has
as I hear it goes apart.
chemistry with Capaldi. It's just the writing wasn't there
Mm.
because this version of Clara was much more tamed than the Clara that we see after the finale of this series.
That's true. That is true. So what do you guys think of the Bells of St. John? Because like Jess, you said it would have been on your honorable mentions. Ben, did you say it was as well or no?
No, I don't have this on evil, but this is a fun episode. And a little creepy. Anything with evil AI creeps me out.
Gotcha.
You know,
100%. I back you up in that. Genuine fear of mine.
And once again, I'll say this till the day I die. It's part of Stephen Moffat's mission to make you afraid of everything in your daily life. This time, it's the Wi-Fi.
And he's not wrong.
Yeah. and it's working.
I know what my least favorite episode in this season is.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that. See if it comes
I already
up.
told you.
That's right. You did. But they don't know. Okay, so Ben, what's your number 4?
The Crimson Horror.
That's on my honorable mentions. Great episode, but it's on my honorable mentions with Nightmare in Silver.
Would you consider this a Dr. Light episode?
No, because he ended for the most part.
But he's gone for the first half of it. So that's why I asked. That's why I think
I wouldn't say he's only gone for 15 minutes. Maybe half. Maybe half.
I like a Vastra of Jenny episode, man.
Yeah,
I love
Anything with
it.
Strax in it. Anything with Strax.
Yeah, but like I like
yeah.
Jenny and
Oh,
Vastra
yeah.
as like as a couple. They're
Yeah.
great.
And what I love is that in this world, she's the inspiration for Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I love it.
There was a
Their
special
dynamic
mini-
is actually really real as well.
Yeah.
That's
you
how
can- you
she
believe their
grounds. Yeah, she grounds Vastra like no one else, and you see
Yeah.
the way she only ever softens for Jenny. I'm like, that's so beautiful. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
It's us.
She's the only one that she can be vulnerable around.
Oh, well, that's
That-
what
that-
happens when you're
Those
the
are
right person, I
those
guess,
are
right?
a trio of characters that deserve their own spin-off.
Oh, well, 100%.
And I'm shocked they never went
The
for
end
it.
of the world.
I would watch that. I would watch that so much.
Yeah.
Watch them fight crime and solve mysteries together.
Please, as long as Strax has to be there though, because
Oh yeah, no.
Strax.
Yeah, that's real, man.
That's
Oh,
why it
yeah.
broke my heart when he didn't know who she was and name of the doctor. I'm like, no.
Oh, I know. Fuck.
Ugh.
Spoilers.
Anyway, getting ahead of myself.
Okay.
So yeah, Crimson Horror was also. I'm tracking with Ben at the moment.
Well, okay. It's on my honorable mentions at least. All right. So my number 4 is an episode that I really enjoy: Journey to the Center of the Tardis.
Oh, this is a good one. Not on either my list. My list was a great episode.
I kind of figured by the crickets I just heard.
Sorry, it wasn't on my list either.
Sorry, I got the window open. You can hear the cricket from there.
This is the one about the 3 brothers.
Yeah, the 3 brothers and they're
yeah,
trying to find
Salvages.
Miss Clara. Yep.
yeah.
And how they played a practical joke by convincing their brother that he was an android.
Yeah,
Mm.
well, I still don't get like, wouldn't he feel human?
Like, what is funny about that even?
Nothing.
Siblings are cruel.
I know siblings can do terrible, stupid things to each other, but dude, come on.
The dude had lost all his memories and had lost his eyes and he lost his voice block. So for some stupid reason, they decided to have fun with him.
Because that's what siblings do.
But no, this is a lot of fun because we get to see so much of the TARDIS. You see,
That's true.
You see
Yeah.
the Eye of Harmony in full. You see the library. You see the pool. It's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Really cool. You see the room where he carries
Fair enough.
trinkets. Where
What?
you see the room where the doctor carries his trinkets, and you see his bassinet that we see
Yes.
in the war, and you see one of Amy's toy TARDISes from when she was a kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grabs it's.
Because Clara grabs it and just throws it up and gives it a spin.
I had read, like, I went on IMDb while I was watching this episode, and they had said that originally the plan was to show more something belonging to Susan, something belonging to like Sarah Jane and stuff like that, but then they
It was
cut
a
it
cut
down
for
to
time.
just- Yeah, so they
Yeah.
did the more recent ones.
My favorite artifact in that thing is the book of the history of the Time War.
Yeah, and when Clara says, "Oh, so that's who," so you think she knows the doctor's name?
I think she knew it and forgot about it because time was rewritten.
Yeah, that's true.
Splintered
She,
into it.
she remembered fragments of what happened, but not the full thing,
That's true.
which is good because the less people know the name, the better.
Oh, of course. Like, okay, so answer me this then: who officially knows the name? River
The doctor
River?
and River.
and River know?
Yeah.
Okay, so the doctor and River, is that it?
Because she even mentions that when she's at his tomb. She
Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
I
Right.
know his name.
And-
Because
and
she's
she
the one that
says it-
actually mutters it
She
to
whispers
open
it in
it.
Tennant's ear.
That's true. So it's
I-
those two,
I-
but it's-
I-
That's right in the library.
I'm guessing we all
And-
know his name because I'm guessing his proper full name is indeed John Smith. Talking back
That's a
to
theory.
that
That's a popular theory among
Wait. Can you say that for theory?
that
I've never heard
people
the theory
people
before.
actually believe that his real name is John Smith.
Because of a line
Really?
he said in, was it season 4, season 5? Like the originals I'm talking about.
It's classic.
Didn't he
Uh,
say something in Classic Who? Didn't he say, like, when someone asked him, he said his name was John Smith?
No, but
Like-
I don't remember him saying that, but that's always the name that he uses as a misdirect.
Mhm.
But
I
if anything, I think the Master also knows his name.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Chooses not to
And-
say
yeah.
it.
And what him into a hiding place and hiding in plain sight.
Right. And John Smith is as boring a name as it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's
so
short enough that River could have whispered it in Tennant's ear.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's true.
Okay, number 3.
Yeah,
Are
you're
we
number
on my
3.
number 3?
Yes, we are.
The power of 3.
Honorable mention.
I'm
For
still
nothing, for nothing else. And then Amy opening up that door and hearing that damn drinking song.
So that's why you love the episode, Ben.
No, I love the idea of the cubes. The cubes are cool, and
They're
Not
also
even-
setting up a bunch of stuff that happens in the Day of the Doctor.
That's
Yeah.
Because you see,
Yep.
and you see the Black Archives.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all little fragments scattered throughout. It's great.
One of my favorite things in this is when it's revealed that she is Kate Lethbridge Stewart.
Yeah.
Because
And,
the doctor says something about
and
her
the-
father, and she
And the
goes,
doctor
"You know."
knows. He's like,
you know.
the doctor, because the doctor knows. He's
Of
like,
course he does.
don't give up. Your dad never did.
But what was
And
it about
there's that
science?
book
Science, she said? Like his quote, science. Fuck. She says a line that.
Science division, I think.
No. She actually says a line.
Oh,
follow the
science triumphs.
Science triumphs. And then she says, he learned that from a wise man looking at the doctor. I was like, that's awesome.
My wise old friend.
Yeah, it's a very intimate scene that you get in Doctor Who. That's just so wonderful.
And
yeah.
and it.
I don't know
if-
how I can describe it, but it's just a scene that makes you just feel good.
I love watching the doctor get bored. That's funny. It's
Yeah.
always funny.
Oh, of
And
course.
no one does it better than Matt Smith, this really petulant 3-year-old that's not getting his way type, like almost
I don't
tantrum.
do patience. Patience is for humans. I'm a time lord.
Because he's like, yeah, I've done so much. How much time? And they're like, an hour. He's
Yeah.
just like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, where's the doctor? He's
And
playing
then
the Wii again.
Brian, who takes his task so
Brian
seriously
Pond.
to watch the cubes,
Yeah.
and he watches them all day and sends all his data to you. And I'm like, he is the best. And then the
Oh.
fact that he asks the doctor to take care of them.
Uh,
I'm like, yeah, I know.
Okay, what's your number 3, Matt?
we'll get to the conclusion of that thing in a bit. My number 3 is the very first Doctor Who episode I ever watched. The Doctor,
Asylum?
the Widow, and the Wardrobe.
Ah.
That was my introduction to the Doctor. I went over to a friend's place and we were trying to figure out what to watch. It's like, hey, let's watch some of the Doctor Who. And I'm like, I've always heard good things about it. Let's see. And then we watched this and it was like, wow, I was hooked. Mostly because it's had that familiarity with the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Plus the love story in this. How she is the one that guided him to safety.
Home in time for Christmas.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it now because it's just so lovely. It's the best way. I'm speechless because it's just, yeah.
I'm not giggling at you. I'm giggling at Ben.
Oh, okay. Well, I was like, thank you. No, it's an example of true love. And I like at the beginning when she encounters the doctor and he's in the spacesuit with the head backwards and bumping into
I got dressed in a hurry.
Yeah. It's such.
And
It's
she's
such-
explaining everything to her son and her dad. The dad is like, "Where's mommy?" Out.
And I love when he's introducing them to the house and he opens the room and it's like the safari thing and it's like, where are the beds? Better. hammocks.
Hammock!
He runs and he misses.
This hammock has developed a fault.
It's so much fun. Yeah, it's if it wasn't for the other two on this list, this would be my number one because it holds such a special place in my heart. It's the introduction of me into the wonderful, wonderful world of Who. Yeah. So Ben, what's your number two?
I hope we have the same one, but we might not. Dinosaurs on a spaceship.
Yes, that's my number two as well. Yes.
Chris
Hands
Chibnall
down.
pointing it out.
What?
What'd you say?
When did you say
Chris Chibnall, gotta point it out for the haters.
Chris
and the
Chibnall, the one who
detractors.
wrote this episode. Yes, the one who
And
everybody
his
hates
best
right now.
episode by far.
My favorite moment of this episode is when Rory says to his dad, "Nobody writes Christmas lists anymore," because of the Doctor saying, "I do."
My favorite part. My favorite part is Rory suggests an idea of can we use any weapons? And the Doctor's like, "Good job, Rory!" And then he kisses him on the mouth.
Yeah.
No weapons. Oh, well, that's not good. Getting my hopes up. Arthur Darvill's face is like,
Honestly, this episode.
what did I do to deserve that?
This episode, I would argue, is the best example of the dynamic between the Doctor, Amy, and Rory.
Yeah.
I agree, and I think there's a reason why this episode is chronologically where it is in the season, if you
Okay.
think about it.
Why is that?
It's a lot more relationship focused. If you actually went back and watched all the Amy, Doctor, and Rory episodes, they very much dive into that dynamic between the three of them, so they can really twist the knife further down the track.
Gotcha.
Well,
Okay.
but
Chapters.
I'm confused. Was this the episode before what happens?
Oh yeah, this is the second
It's
episode of the series.
It's right after
Son of
the
the
Sign
Daleks.
of the Daleks.
Oh, okay. I thought this was the episode right before.
No, it
that's
isn't.
the Power of Three.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
Never
why
mind.
it hurts so much more when Brian says, "Take care of them."
yeah.
Okay,
That's why they've just particularly done it just so
Yeah.
they can really pull the rug out from
If I'm
under
not
you.
mistaken, Dinosaurs
okay.
on a Spaceship is where Brian asks the Doctor a favor, and he just sits at the edge of the toolbox, just watch the phone box, just watching Earth.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
In the
such a
sand.
lovely,
He's just eating a sandwich.
it's such a lovely scene.
I'm so happy for Arthur Weasley in this episode.
Oh yeah.
I love Arthur Weasley.
Honestly, the character kind of reminds me of Arthur Weasley, just a
Yeah,
little
he
more
does.
eccentric.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
For sure.
he's a very Arthur Weasley type.
yeah. Mr. Pond.
Oh,
Brian Pond! I'm not a pond. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Also, something that a lot of people overlook about this episode, the villain,
Yeah.
played by David Bradley, who later became the
Game, the first
first
Doctor.
Doctor. So that we have a bit of a Tennant Capaldi situation of
Yeah.
two doctors meeting each other before one of them was the Doctor.
Yeah.
wait, David
And
Bradley,
Colin
is
Baker and
he Phil?
yeah, he's
Yes.
still-
No, you have Phil.
Speaking of Arthur Weasley,
yeah, you have Filter Arthur Weasley, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
two
awesome.
characters that never really interacted in that series, which is weird.
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
it really a shame, though? Is it really a shame?
alrighty. So what are the honorable mentions for you, Ben? Because we both had the same number two.
I'm getting
Mine.
one Asylum of the Violet. My only honorable mention.
Okay, so I actually enjoyed quite a few episodes of this season, so this was tough. But on my honorable mentions, I have Hyde, because I thought that was a great ghost story. I have The Snowmen, The Power of Three, and then the Crimson Horror Nightmare in Silver two-parter.
Interesting. No one had my number 2.
What is it?
Asylum of the Daleks.
Oh, that's my honorable mention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like I said. For me, there was just so many good episodes that like there were some of.
I just like it from a writing standpoint because as I was talking to you as I was watching it,
Mm.
so there's so many clues littered to the fact that Clara Oswald isn't who she says she is, because the amount of times he says, where did you get the eggs? Where did you get the milk? and they just brush over it like it's a weird doctor thing. You know how the doctor asks questions, you're just like, whatever, don't worry about it.
And that's the best part about the doctor. He notices
everything.
Yeah, he's asking.
But you brush over it. You don't think about it when you're first watching the episode. It's not till you know the reveal.
Because he's asking the questions you wouldn't think to ask. That's why Stephen Moffat writes Doctor Who so well. Because he understands the Doctor mentality.
Because he's all souffles, okay. And then he's like, wait, hold on. Wait a second. How are you making souffles?
Yeah.
And that's what I loved. And I loved Oswin's character where she was this really flirtatious. And like you could see the doctor was like ticking it over in his brain, like, okay. Oh,
and you see it again in the Snowman where he practically gives in. He's like, yeah, why not?
And she calls him Chin Boy, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. Chin Boy in the nose.
Yeah.
Chin Boy in the nose. Yep.
It's great. Her banter with the group. Her banter with the group makes me think she would have been such a welcome addition if the Pond stuck around. And that's why I love it. That was why it was my number 2, because of all the little details. I didn't like the forced tension between Rory and Amy that was resolved in half the episode. I don't think it needed to be in there. I think it could have had plenty of tension without that whole, Rory and Amy might break up thing. And then when he gets back onto the Dalek spaceship and they're like, we don't know who you are, dude. Like, hello?
Yeah.
And then, and just them all screaming that. And then the realization of, the doctor realizing that he has been erased. He goes, oh, you clever girl. I'm like, yes.
So, can I ask you guys something?
Of course.
I know we're strapped on time, so real quick yes or no. Do you think what's your team name is coming back? Then we get Clara, Amy, and Rory back for the second season.
If I'm being honest, I think it might be easier to get Clara back than it would be Amy at this point. Karen
Gillan's very big now.
Not to say she wouldn't do it. Not to say she wouldn't do it, but I'm saying it would be harder.
Although, you know how her cousin played young Amelia?
Mm-hmm.
Look up pictures of her now. She looks exactly like Amy Pond did in that time.
Caitlin.
I mean, she looks exactly like Karen Gillan at this moment. But to answer Ben's question, I'm going to answer.
You're right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to stay true to myself, and it's not the answer you're going to want to hear, but it's the answer I think is the definitive one. Russell T Davies differs from Stephen Moffat in a way that Davis likes to play with the toys he makes himself, and Stephen Moffat likes to play with the toys that other people made.
So in other words,
he wouldn't bring back companions introduced by a different showrunner.
Unless it was Sarah Jane, apparently.
Sarah Jane Smith is a different situation, but he would bring in his own new original characters.
So we're more likely to get Rose, Donna, and Martha.
No, I'm saying new companions.
Yeah,
no.
I'm talking for the 60th.
Yeah, not for the thing. No.
Well, the 60th. I mean, anything can happen, really.
Yeah,
that's what I'm asking. Okay, never mind. Off camera. What on 3? What's Oliver number 1?
Okay, 3, 2, 1. The Angels
take Manhattan.
You gonna do the synopsis for this one, Soda?
This is the one I'm doing the synopsis for.
Vinny has his hand up. Why?
Yes, 50. He's doing the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. How did you guys pick up on that?
I got it.
American guy.
The only American didn't get it. All the other foreigners were like, "Yeah, we know what that is."
Yeah, that just shows how much Americans know about their own history, apparently.
Oh, snap! Oh, snap!
No, as I've said before, this is the episode when my mom came to visit me one Christmas and asked me why I like Doctor Who so much. And I explained the ending to this, and I broke out into tears just explaining it. And she's like, okay, I get it. This episode is one of the biggest gut punches you will ever feel in Doctor Who history because it is so abrupt. Okay. 2012, the 11th Doctor, Amy and Rory enter a picnic in Central Park. The Doctor reads a novel about a 1930s detective named Melody Malone. Rory is sent
which is a sequel to an actual novel that the BBC released as a tie-in for this episode.
Oh, cool.
Which I listened to on audiobook.
Yeah. Rory is sent to 1938 by a cherub weeping angel and meets River Song, who wrote Melody Malone. The Doctor and Amy find Rory written into the Melody Malone novel and attempt to take the TARDIS to 1938, but the TARDIS struggles to get there. The weeping angel collector Grail captures River and Rory, and he locks Rory in the cellar with several cherub weeping angels while he has a weeping angel grab River by the wrist while he interrogates her. River is able to use her vortex manipulator to allow the TARDIS to arrive, and Amy, knowing River wrote the book to help them, uses it to look for Rory. River breaks her wrist to free herself, and Amy finds the cellar empty. The Doctor locates Rory in an apartment building nearby. Rory enters an apartment with an elderly version of himself in bed, who dies without having seen Amy for many years. The Doctor deduces that the Weeping Angels have been using the building as a battery farm, sending the victims to their past while feeding off their time energy. Rory and Amy refuse to accept their fate and flee to the roof, where they jump off, creating a paradox that destroys the building and the Weeping Angels. The Doctor, River, Amy, and Rory find themselves near the TARDIS in a graveyard in 2012. Rory catches sight of a gravestone with his name on it. He is then sent into the past by a Weeping Angel who had survived the paradox. The Doctor is unable to go back to get him due to the paradox, and despite the Doctor urging her not to do so, Amy allows herself to be touched by the Weeping Angel in the hope of being with Rory, and her name then appears along with Rory's on the gravestone. River declines to travel with the Doctor, but insists he should not travel alone. Unsuccessfully motivating him, River tells the Doctor she will ask Amy to write an afterword in the novel. The Doctor recovers the last page of the book he had torn out earlier, where Amy wrote to him, encouraging him not to travel alone. As a final request from Amy, the Doctor goes back to her garden in 1996, the morning after young Amelia Pond had waited for him, to tell her about her future adventures. Whew. Anyone else feeling like a... Yeah. Pimply. Goosebumps. Because I can picture it just in my head.
Me too. Yeah.
For me, the most heartbreaking moment is the Doctor's reaction.
If I could describe the feeling of a Dementor in the room, this is what I would be feeling right now.
Yep.
Suck all the joy out of life.
Watching the behind-the-scenes making of this on Doctor Who Confidential was very hard. Because they that's all they were talking about was the emotional heaviness of this, and then they showed the behind the scenes of the making of the scene when the Doctor is reading the letter, and in reality, Karen Gillan was just off camera reading it to him. Yeah. So what do you guys think? We know what Jess is thinking. I'm holding it.
I had nice. No, I'm gonna view myself.
Are you capable of thinking at the moment?
Or not. This is a fucking incredible episode. There are so many moments in this episode from start to finish, and I love this really isn't talked about all that often, I think. But
I think it's because it's too hard to talk about.
It's really hard.
the Doctor takes Amy's glasses and
Yes.
starts using them. And I think that is a beautiful moment going
They make her eyes look all liney. Oh wait, no, never mind. Don't worry.
Yeah, it shows just how much Amy meant to him because she was his best friend. She was the first face he ever saw.
That
The
first
face that they saw.
face ever saw.
Yeah.
And to bring up the point, Ben, him using the glasses, that is not just in that episode, but he keeps using them throughout the remainder.
That's what I meant.
That's like Doctor memorabilia now for him. Something that a lot of other doctors didn't have.
like
Something to remember his companions by.
like in the other doctor with Tennant and him wearing glasses.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, because Tennant has been wearing glasses since episode 1, but Matt Smith's glasses
Yeah.
actually have weight behind them.
Mm. I think also watching it.
No,
Was that them?
no,
Go ahead,
after you.
I knew it was sort of coming in a way, because here's the thing, is like Amy already made her decision when they jumped off that building. They had no clue that it was definitely going to create a paradox. So in that moment, she decided that for her, it was better to go with Rory than to live without him. And I think so as soon as Rory was sent back, she already had her mind made up. She already knew it. She was not going to in any way, shape, or form carry on living a life that didn't include Rory in it. As much as she's loved the Doctor, and we know that she has, Rory's always been her choice.
Mhm.
And there's been so many episodes that talk about Amy making choices about Rory, and
Yep.
she's always put him first. And this was the first time that she made a decision, but like genuinely was between the Doctor and Rory, and there was no question. She didn't think about it. She didn't mull it over, or she just knew. She just knew she was saying goodbye to to her daughter and everything like that.
It's a better love story than Rose and the Doctor.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Which also makes, again, the divorce at the beginning of the series completely pointless.
It made no sense either, because we had no actual run up to it, so it didn't
even with the mini episode, it's still
it still felt like a tension.
Yeah. Ooh, because she can't have kids anymore. I'm sure they would have worked it out.
They could have actually had that be a thing.
They did. Speaking of this episode, there's a follow-up to it.
Yes.
And it was supposed to be an episode, but it didn't get produced. They adopted a child in 1948, and they sent the child to Brian with a letter from Rory.
See, this could have been a really great narrative point that they could have talked about, where Rory could have been bringing up different ways that they could have had kids, and Amy could have talked about feeling like a failure as a woman, because there is that whole stigma still that if you can't have kids naturally, speaking as a female, that if you can't have kids naturally, you're doing the one thing that you feel like you're put on earth for. So it could have been this real great and underlying narrative, but instead they skip right to the end and throw in a little throwaway argument of her going, I can't have kids. And as much as that's horrible to hear, and it is a really like awful moment in Asylum of the Daleks, there was not enough weight. If it was like they'd done little bits beforehand, it would have made a lot more sense. If you had Rory constantly going, we could adopt, or we've been talking to the Doctor about doing IVF, and Amy seems like she isn't keen, and it's just because she feels like she's failed. That would have actually made a lot more sense for them to have gotten to that point.
Or we're in an alien time ship, we could forget the technology. But
you know what I mean. Rory could have been that guy that was constantly bringing up different options, and Amy could have been shutting it down purely because she feels like she's failed at something.
It was only there. It was only there for the sake of having conflict. And
I hate that. That was the only thing I hated about the Asylum of the Dalek. So it was that, but that's what I loved, is that as soon as Rory was taken back, she was like, I've made my decision.
Yeah.
As soon as she got confirmation from River that if she got touched by the angel, she'd be sent back to see him. Didn't even matter that the Doctor said, I can never see you again. She was, no offense, but she didn't care at that point. The idea of living the rest of her life without the love of her life meant more to her than living the rest of her life with the Doctor.
One quick question before we wrap up. Maybe you guys can explain it. I don't get it. Why can't the Doctor go visit them?
50 says you. This is you.
This is great.
Because the paradox that they made was so big that the TARDIS just can't land in that particular time and place. And you even see it that earlier in the episode, the TARDIS is having problems landing in the general area because of what the angels have been doing this whole time, sending the same people to the same place over and over again, messing with time.
But after that, at the great site, after Rory and Amy disappeared, why can't the Doctor go and find them?
That's literally why he cannot get the TARDIS into that.
He bounced off the actual time,
Yeah,
like the time that they've got created there. He literally bounced the TARDIS off. It was only because River got him coordinates to land, and he barely made it.
Here's the
Barely.
best way to imagine it. You remember the Simpsons movie when they put that big giant bubble over Springfield?
Yeah.
That's what happened. That's what that paradox created, was a bubble over that point in time where he can't land.
He'll break time.
It'll break everything.
Okay. All right.
It's one of those where unfortunately he has to the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah. Sure. All right. Well, while we're at our lowest, why don't we wrap up, right?
Yeah, let's wrap up this sob fest. But first, so we didn't talk about the name of the Doctor because we are going to be doing something special with that. We are going to be doing the name of the Doctor, the day of the Doctor, and the time of the Doctor all on the same episode.
Which is weird because they're not even part of a trilogy, but they just sound the same.
Yep.
They work together.
They do work together. So expect a very fun, big episode next week where we'll be going over
Less
the big
tears from
events.
Jess.
Yes, the big events of the 50th anniversary special. What a time that was. We were being so spoiled as Who fans at that time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't wait to deep dive into it.
I can tell you. I've never seen you this excited. How much fun is it that we got Ben hooked on Doctor Who?
No
Did you?
one tells me the rules.
Never tell me the rules.
Hey.
We got.
Hello. I'm the Doctor.
And the sad part, there will be tears shed at the end of that episode, though, because it is the last time we will be covering Matt Smith as the Doctor.
Okay, so there will be
Let's
tears from
see it.
Jess again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry again.
Okay, so we'll get you out of the way. We'll get you to plug first so you can go cry. Jess, where can everybody find you?
So we're skipping me again. Okay.
Sorry, 50. What are your
You're always doing it. You're always doing it.
Calm the fuck down.
No, you know what? You know what? I understand with 50 on this one. Every week you forget him.
It's because I'm so busy. Just never mind. 50, I'm sorry. What are your number 5? What are your 5?
Okay. My number 5. I did not plan this.
It's the look of okay.
I did not plan this. But I gotta talk about my number 5 because none of you guys have had it on your list. It's the Rings of Akatan. And it goes into why I am not a fan of Clara. And if I can just have the floor to myself for a moment and get serious for a little bit. So, I didn't mean the full screen, but okay, I'll allow it. So Clara Oswald, like I said, I enjoyed the reveal. I enjoyed the mystery before I got the reveal. And when Stephen Moffat decided to just make her the savior of the Doctor and send her back reverberating through the Doctor, obviously it's part of next week's thing. I get that, but it's still part of this series. We're going to talk about it. The idea that she went back through all the Doctor's entire timeline, saving the Doctor over and over and over and over again in every conceivable moment where he could have failed, even in moments that we did see clips from in that particular episode, where the Doctor, if you watch the episode, didn't need much saving, but that's beside the point. And then after that, it kind of went to her head after that moment, and she started becoming way too overconfident in herself and way too cocky in her abilities, and especially during the Capaldi series, she was given way too many liberties, and Stephen Moffat broke some unbreakable rules with the Doctor Who mythos of the companion becoming bigger than the Doctor. And we even get to see some of that in her episodes prior to the name of the Doctor. And that is the line you do not cross in my opinion, with Doctor Who. The companion does not out-doctor the Doctor. That is something you do not do in Doctor Who. And in the Capaldi series, from that moment on, from Name of the Doctor onwards, it basically just became the Clara show guest starring the Doctor. And that is why I do not like this character. Okay? It became she became the main focal point of the show, and the Doctor was an afterthought. It was a side note. Okay? That is why I do not like the character of Clara Oswald. That is nothing against Jenna Coleman. Again, nothing against Stephen Moffat. It's the way he wrote this character in particular.
Okay, now...
Okay, and even in this episode, I started off by talking about the Rings of Akatan. That is the perfect example of what I am saying, because in this episode, the Doctor has one of the greatest moments of the Matt Smith era, one of the greatest speeches of the Matt Smith era, and that's saying something about the Matt Smith era when he's talking to the planet-sized parasite, giving him all of his life and memories. That should have killed the fucking thing. And then Clara shows up and he's like, step aside, stupid.
I gotta leave.
This is how you do it. This is how you defeat a planet-sized monster. You're just a 1,000-year-old Time Lord. I'm a little girl with a leaf. I know what I'm doing. You don't.
So you don't think the moment of her giving up the precious memories of her parents' love story?
It's a beautiful moment. It should not have come immediately after what happened with the Doctor.
I get it.
Okay, so
she just completely came in and undermined everything he just did. The same thing she did in every other time she had an opportunity to do so with the Doctor.
Calm the fuck down.
First,
I'll try.
second, it sounds like your issue with Clara is less with Clara and more with how Moffat handled the character.
Yes.
Okay.
Again, that's nothing against the actress. The actress did a great job playing two versions of the same character and of all things. But
no, she's great as Clara. I get it now. I really do get it now.
And that is the reason why I've been saving it for this moment.
Apparently, jeez,
to unleash.
All right, on that note,
I needed to get that off my chest.
Oh, wait.
Number 4 is the Rings of Akatan. I love it for those moments. The reason it's number 5 is because of the Clara moment. Number 4, The Doctor, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Number 3, Asylum of the Daleks. Number 2, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. Number 1, The Angels Take Manhattan. Honorable mentions, Cold War.
Cold War is a great episode.
Yeah. Ice Warriors. Who doesn't like the Ice Warriors?
But not just that. We got David fucking Warner in a Doctor Who episode, man. That guy's a treasure.
Yeah. It was basically the Doctor Who equivalent of Hunt for Red October.
Yeah.
So Cold War, Hyde, because Clara didn't get a chance to undermine the Doctor in that episode. And the Snowman. And the Snowman, if for no other reason than for the fact that we actually finally, officially, canonically have Richard E. Grant in Doctor Who after he previously played a version of the 10th Doctor in a spoof comedy relief episode written and produced by Stephen Moffat. He also played a version of the 9th Doctor in a 30th anniversary special, and we get to see him play an iconic character from the 60s, giving backstory and the reason why this character hates the Doctor so much in The Great Intelligence, who was also kind of low-key voiced by Ian McKellen in this episode. So for those reasons alone, and sort of loosely an explanation as to why The Great Intelligence has an obsession with abominable snowmen and yetis, that's honorable mention for me.
Nice.
But if you watch that episode, even though it's a different version of Clara, she's still being the Clara that I despise when talking to that ice woman.
So basically, you don't like Clara being cleverer than the Doctor.
I don't like the idea of anyone being cleverer than the Doctor. Least of all a companion. Least of all a 20-year-old girl.
So it sounds like you think when Clara and Clara was and the doctor, it sounds like the doctor is holding their job from Clara. Is that right?
Yeah, and you'll see what I'm talking about with the Capaldi era, where the Doctor basically just became her little bitch. He basically became a little lapdog that comes when she calls and does what she tells him to do, and she slaps him whenever she feels like it.
Okay.
And I'm not even making that up. That she actually does that.
I think I do remember that.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So that brings it end to series 7, the one where a lot of tears were shed while watching these episodes and on camera. So Jess, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on the all-night taco stand this coming Thursday.
Yeah.
For y'all in the northern hemisphere, where I'll be staying up for as long as I can stand to be around taco. So probably
About an hour.
we'll see how it goes.
There's a limit to how long humans can stand around taco.
Yeah.
So you'll find me on there. Maybe on one of these guys' shows.
And everything starts to stink. And yeah.
Yeah. But you'll find me on probably one of these mini shows on this channel. So I'll be around.
All right. 50.
You can find me on my channel, 50 Shades of Geek. You can also find me on my channel, occasionally on Twitch, 50 Shades of Gaming. You can find me on this channel with these wonderful people on Get Sweaty. Occasionally I pop into Mount Schmodown. I just did another Let's Talk About Star Wars. And you can find me on my Patreon, patreon.com/Pokemon Star Crossing Crescent, where I design a Pokemon game based on Israel.
And Ben, where can everybody find you?
You can find me everywhere where Matt is going to say, but you can also find me on Mount Schmodown. Yesterday we had video 2 on and we introduced our new co-host. Go and check out that episode. It's the best one yet. Next week, if everything goes to plan, which is unlikely, but there is a big plan in the works. Don't know how likely it is, but it's something if we can pull it off.
Okay.
Intriguing.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you off camera.
You better. You better. And as for myself, you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_Stacksman. You can find me on every show on this channel pretty much. Last night, we had our first version of the Star Wars or Not the Planet edition, which is some of the most fun I've had involved in a stream. Pretty much all 3 of these people were involved in one way or another. And we also had Ryan from Mount Schmodown on as well. And we had Taco's friend Seamus too. Definitely check that out. Coming up, do I have anything special coming up? Next week on Shooting the Breeze, we're going to be reviewing Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which is a funny movie. And then also next week, like I said, we will be doing the name of the Doctor, the day of the Doctor, and the time of the Doctor. So definitely check that out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to like all these videos, like everything on here, like all of 50 stuff. And we will see you next week on Shooting the Breeze. And don't forget, everyone, stay sweaty.